That's pretty cool. I'm really curious as to what those functions are supposed to be. What is this?
Just that, where's the buttons? Now, do you know I'm having a party Saturday? Yeah, you told me that.
Yeah.
This Saturday. 23rd, right? Yeah, so if you want, why don't you just pick him up and tell him?
Yeah, we're going to be there.
So we...
How was the show? About time. So we gave you.
This is neat. You're going to really take this. No.
No, I didn't.
She found out he was there.
I'll just sit there.
So you know.
Not here.
It's all just display anyway.
Not for sale, no.
Hey, yo, Paul!
Paul Stanley!
Hey, Paul!
I don't believe there's Gene.
Paul!
Hey, Paul, when are you going to do some longer shows?
Dan is going to fucking die.
Gene! Hey, Gene! That guy by
Did they sign it?
Stuff when he's going to take it off.
Hey, Gene!
What?
Hey, Paul, why don't you guys come back here and do a 3-hour show with all your stuff? These hour and a half shows are for wimps, man!
Hey, Paul!
Joe is trying to be...
Hey, Paul! Check this out, man! Hey, Paul!
Hey, Paul, look at the stacking!
Paul! Gene, please! Hey, will you sign it, please? Gene! Will you sign it?
You sign it?
Gene! Gene Simmons! Gene! 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 Will you sign it? Gene! Gene, will you sign Zoom it? Hey, Gene! Paul, will you sign this? Hey, Paul, will you sign this, please? Will you sign it? Will you sign it, Paul? Will you sign it?
Be cool. Be cool. I don't want to be cool.
Okay, will you sign this, please?
Consider it, though, man. You're like a show. I've seen all the shows you've done here, son, as long as I can remember. I come to every show. No.
I am, man. I got the confiscation.
When you listen, you come every year.
Gene!
Yeah, I know you got so much stuff.
Gene!
Paul Stanley!
Thank you, Paul. Gene! You should have taken a picture from Samuel. Gene! Gene! Hey, Paul, sign it! Gene Simmons! Gene Simmons! Hey, God of Thunder! Man, let him breathe. Hey, Gene, will you you sign this code? Paul. Hey, Gene Simmons. Gene Simmons. Will you sign this code? Gene Simmons. Gene, we got a thunder. Gene. Damn it. Gene Simmons. Gene. He's got to sign it. We completed Peter signed it.
Give me, pardon me.
Paul signed it. Gene. Hey, Paul, give this to Gene. Hey, give this to Gene. Give this to Gene. Where the fuck did you go? Hey, Gene, this... Hey, Gene! You're the man!
Gene!
You rule, man!
There you go. You're never long enough, but you know what?
Get him back over here.
I know you got so much stuff.
Hey, Gene! They're not out of here.
I mean, he's cutting that way.
Oh, man, I love to get one piece of those. Hey, I'm just going to get another one of these. Officer! Don't do it, don't. Yeah, Gene, sign this. No, we'll be back. No, do it. We'll be back. Hey, Gene, will you sign this code, man? Gene! Come on. Hey, Gene! They're leaving. Oh, Gene signs it, Peter signs it. Come on. Let's go, we gotta go that way. You got a search warrant? Hey, you got a search warrant? Let's go. Hey, why are you taking that stuff? You got a search warrant? Hey, Tom. Tom.
Is that true?
Right across the face, though, man.
So what?
Doesn't matter.
You know, we had to keep this a secret. We're really glad to meet everybody. We don't get a chance to go to these things often. One of the reasons we really came down was because over the years, some of our real old costumes, the stuff that we really hold dear to us, have been stolen and disappeared. And we've heard about them being on display at these things. And as much as we want you people to see them, they really belong to us, so we have to make sure that when you see them, we own them. So we came here to pick them up. But on the other hand, the thing that's great is we flew in and we get a chance to see you people. As long as we're here, and since we don't have a mic out there, this is one of those opportunities where we get a chance to talk to you. So if anybody wants to know something, we're here to...
How much of the live 1 and 2 was recorded live, and how much was overdone?
Okay, the question here is how much of a live 1 and 2 were recorded live?
And how much everything else?
They were all recorded live.
Come on,
We were real concerned that we wanted to keep the integrity of the stuff, but at the same time, if I dropped the guitar on stage, you didn't want to hear that. So they're honest, they're recorded live, but we made sure that if there was something that went wrong, you don't want to look at that people.
How close did Anton Fig come to becoming a full member of KISS?
How close did Anton come to becoming a member of KISS? Anton was never really considered too strongly to become a member, but we needed somebody to help us on some tracks. So Anton...
What was it like playing with Gene?
What's that? We're going to see Peter later on. We're going to see Peter later on. I don't think Peter knew we were coming in, but since we're here, you know, it would be a shame for us to be this close and not have a chance to see each other. The material for the next album, and the next album is going to be, it's going to be similar to Revenge, but I think it's going to be a lot hipper. It's going to be crunchier, but the same, nothing new, same thing.
How many times did you see him get himself on fire?
My new baby's fine.
What's his name?
He's a big boy.
Did you meet him?
Did we leave Vinny in the tour bus? No, he's not driving today.
How many times did DC light his hair on fire? How many times did you... Paul, what's your son's name? What's your son's name? David? Evan.
Hey, let's go out. Who's like playing with Garfield tonight?
We're doing David Letterman on the 26th playing with Chin Blocker. It should be fun, we just have to learn the song.
Ask this little blonde guy for the outfits up here so we can get this moving.
How many times did you light yourself on fire? How many times?
What do you want to know?
What's up?
Listen, quiet.
What we're going to be doing soon, in the next 6 months, you should know about it. We're going to South America at the end of August to headline the Monsters of Rock. Opening will be Black Sabbath, Slayer, and Suicidal Tendencies. And then in August there's going to be a long-form video that shows a lot of this cool stuff, because we're filming it. We didn't really plan to be here, but some our friends told us about the outfits, and we said, you know, it's been out there long enough, it really should come back to its rightful owner. So, and then, we want you to know that we're going to be planning something real special that we want all of you to get involved in, but we won't tell you about it now. And it'll be coming out probably in the new year, but before then you'll find out what it is, and we'll let you know what that is.
What about that damn book?
And what else? What do you want to know?
Where's that book coming out? When's your book coming out?
So people want to know about the history book. When's the book coming out? As far as we know, it's coming out close to the new year or right afterwards.
How many times did I get hair on fire?
Long face out of
Picture locked down on every picture. Hey man, you just answered questions. Shut the fuck up. I think what happened with Ace of Spades is really, I mean, it shows how lawyers can really fuck things up. Because lawyers who said they represented Ace said all kinds of things about what we could use, what we couldn't use, and the truth is, we really can use anything, but to avoid a lot of bullshit and a lot of people getting involved, we should. Let's do what we have to make sure the album can come out. And I have to apologize, and I have to Ace, because it's really not fair to him. And the world would be a lot better off without so many lawyers.
Try to walk back again because we've got to catch a plane. We wanted to make sure we said hello to you. What? We may come back later. We don't know. Okay, so let us go.
He doesn't. He said no. He said he wants to see.
This is not alcoholic. Anyway, it's good to be back in Detroit, Motor City, one of my favorite places, especially Cobo Hall. Someone said they're not playing at Cobo Hall anymore. Is that? It's kind of sad, you know. It's a great arena just to let it waste like that. So I had some good times here, and I was looking forward to coming here and saying hi. You know, you gotta pay the rent, I guess. No, it's just, it's good to be here. And I heard some things earlier. I don't know anything about it. I just came to say hi to you guys. It's good to be here. I'm in great health. I got a new CD coming out August 16th. And, you know, I'm going back to do my MTV video next week, and so things are going on. It's a whole new album. It's It's 11 songs. The 5 CD I only did for you guys. That was only released for my fans. That didn't go out on the market like in the warehouse or Blockbusters. I don't know what you guys have out here. But the new album I did is a 3-album deal, so it is coming out. There's 11 songs in it, so they're all new songs. I produced it with my bass player, and I sang 8 of them. So I'm excited. It's a great. It's a great album. It's a really good album. So,
Have you seen Gene and Paul yet?
I haven't seen Gene and Paul in 5 years.
They were here. They were here. They wanted to see you.
That's really sad. What are they going to do with them? Wear them to bed? Like, I don't have lawyers either. The fact is, though, I did have Ace come down and play on my new album, so he's credit. I'm still really good friends with Ace. Him and I don't need him to tour with me. I just need him to play on my record, then he can come up. Ace is another story, man. But you guys want to ask me any questions, you got to do it one at a time because there's a lot of guys here.
Hey, there's girls here too, man.
I sang on Trouble Walking. I think a few others. That was a long time ago. Do you want? I sang on that. Yeah, but I don't even remember what songs those were at that time. It was like
What's acid, man?
no. Let me see. Anton Philly. I didn't play on Unmasked because at that point I quit the band and I was doing Out of Control, and I wanted to get a drummer that felt really close to me, and God, Anton's great. So he sat in and played for me. I just didn't want nothing to do with it anymore. I think Garth does a good job copying me. River was really a fun song to do, and when he heard it, he was looking for me because he thought I wrote it and he wanted permission to do it. And then he found out I didn't write it. Of course, immediately the other guys got on top of that. And no, Peter didn't write it, and so they jumped on the bandwagon and said that they wrote it. But to me, something had to turn him on, and it sure wasn't the writer, because you don't look who wrote the song, you get the feeling of who sings it. So all I'm happy is that if my voice made the guy feel great, then that's cool, then that's great, because I still do it in my show, so,
Baby John.
I did 4 at that time, 23. The band did 1 album, got shelved, probably in hell.
What does 3 mean?
My lucky number. It's just a lucky number.
You're the best.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, sing something.
I do that with my band on stage. I just can't sit here and sing that. That's true, man. Give me some other questions. I really can't do that. Bob Ezrin played keyboards on that.
What do you think of Eric Singer? What's your next
Play with the tribute band.
It's a cross.
No, I know the other one.
This one? Oh, that's from Canada. Some girl gave me that. I won't get into that either. It's actually kind of cheap for my services, but...
When Kiss was screwing groupies, did you leave the makeup on?
That's interesting. I've never been asked that. That's the first time someone asked it. You really rock, man. I think you got a lot of hustlers under your bed. Actually, the only time I screwed with my makeup on was my ex-wife when we were doing Kiss Meets the Phantom. She came down to visit the set, true story, and she came into my thing, my whatever
Trailer!
And we got it on, and it scared the shit out of her. And so she said, don't ever do that again, I'll wear that that shit, and that was the first and last time I ever did that.
Did she loop her voice too?
She loved it. Although she divorced me 3 years ago, I don't know if she loved it that much. Excuse me? How many what? I have one daughter who just turned 13 who's giving me hell. She's absolutely beautiful, and it's killing me. It's scary, man. I don't want her to be a musician.
Are you playing with the tribute band?
I don't know. I don't know right now. I can't say yes or no.
Will you take off your glasses?
Man, it's hot in here. Is it hot in here? Okay.
Anybody? You guys, first one together. Let me see the camera. You ever tour without makeup?
No. We always tour with makeup.
From day one?
Yeah.
All right.
It might not have been as severe as some of you guys look in the audience, but you know, we actually copied the Dolls in the beginning. We wore a lot of lipstick and feminine makeup.
Did you ever think you'd be larger than life like it turned out to be?
I did. All I wanted was just to hopefully get a gold record someday. I didn't expect.
Well, you did it, man.
There's almost another Peter Britt.
Thank God. I really got lucky. I was really lucky. I really got lucky. I didn't expect to have fans like you guys. I didn't expect to ever see this ever. God bless you, man. You know, really, God bless you guys.
What's your favorite soul album you did?
My favorite soul album would be, I guess, the live one. I really like that album.
Solo album.
I liked also Love Gun, and I liked Dress to Kill. I like the old stuff, man. I really dig the old stuff.
Yeah. What do you think of the new lineup now?
Meaning who?
Of Kiss. What do you think of the present lineup of Kiss?
I don't think about them. I just don't. You know, I really don't. I don't wake up in the morning going, what is Gene doing today? I don't think he does that for me either. You know, I just haven't seen him in a long time. We had a terrible breakup.
What happened?
That's all in my book. I can't tell you guys that. You know, when my book is finished, then you can read that. But it wasn't a good breakup, obviously. So, but I don't think about them. I know they don't think about me. I hope my album does really well. I'm going to send them all a copy. I did thank them on the back of it. You know, I don't have any malice about them, guys. I just.
About the Walk of Fame.
I can get along with them. It's their problem getting along with me, man. I get along with all you guys. I don't see why I can't get along with them. I love you, Pete. I'm really an easy guy to get along with. Just don't fuck with me to a certain point.
We love you, Pete.
What do you got?
How long did it take to make the Phantom of the Park movie?
Oh, that movie was hell. It just took days and hours and 6 o'clock in the morning and putting that stuff on and sitting there for hours and hours and hours. I just wanted to play rock and roll, get paid, go home and get high and have a good time. It ain't that way in movies. Movies are really hard, man. The girl I'm with now is an actress, and it's like really a hard life.
Is it true it's not your voice on the tape?
I can only answer one at a time.
How well do you know Eric Carr?
I knew Eric real well. Eric was a really sweetheart. He would call me up a lot of times, drunk or really depressed. Not a good call. A lot of times, most of them were for support. He was really down a lot. For a guy, you know, hey, look, he didn't sit in an easy chair after I left. That had to be a hard position to sit in. I mean, you guys, you know, could really do someone in if you want. And so I heard he really had a rough time for a lot of years. And also I heard Gene Paul gave him a pretty rough time with a lot of stuff. He called me up crying one time that he didn't want to do that, but they kind of forced him into it. I don't really care. By him doing it, actually got my play more. Because the teenagers are going, why should they play hamburger when we got steak? So, so they did me a favor, you know, it actually did me a favor. But Eric went through a lot of shit. Obviously, he died, so he must have went through a hell of a lot of stress to die at such a young age, at 42, man. Those guys could kill you. Yeah, right. I believe that. Do you really believe that? Someone just told me they were here early and took everything, so they missed me. Yo. If I was asked to a reunion tour, it would only have to be coming from Gene's mouth in a room with just me and him alone. No lawyers, no doctors, no Indian chiefs. But him and I, man to man, mile, mile. You want to do it, you don't want to do it. Bingo. Yeah, of course I would do it. Well, put it this way, if Gene did it, Paul
If I did it, Ace would do it. It's that.
Like being looked at by the world, man. Being looked at by the whole world.
What do you mean? What are they looking at?
Come on, man. Come on. Yeah.
It's great, you know. I don't know, but I do throw up like you, and I do. I do get headaches. And I think it's great. Hey, look, you know, to have this many people really love you is a great feeling. I can't tell you. That's why I'm here. It's again, it's not the money. It's not for anything. It's the fact that it's just great to get this close. There was a time you couldn't even get this close to us. I mean, we were constantly bodyguarded. We were, you know, kept away from you guys. Now it's kind of, I can touch you, I can shake a hand, I can say hello. I meet people where I live every day in my life. They just come up to me and go, "How you doing, Kat? You know, how's your album going? We really love you." And it's really, I seem to get a rapport with my fans a lot, maybe more closer to the heart, because I don't believe in lying. I hate liars and I hate thieves. So most of my friends don't lie to me or they don't drop for me. And I kind of feel that way about you guys. I think you guys are the same way. You're great guys. You're not thieves, you're not liars. It's nice to see you. It's nice to be here. It's nice to be around you.
Hey, Peter.
Now I'm just touring to push my record, probably in September. I hope. I pray to God.
Toledo.
Come to Pittsburgh.
Wisconsin.
Kiss Conventions, this is the best thing about a Kiss Convention, is getting all this love in one room.
Come to Florida.
Can't top it. This is the M.E. We'll all be naked soon, which I kind of like. Excuse me? My tour better come to Detroit.
Yeah!
There ain't no better city than Detroit.
Yeah!
Lake Cobo.
No. I would if it would have been the way I left would have been done right. Maybe there's times I regret it. Yeah, there's times I miss the guys. I miss all the stuff. But I don't regret it right now because now it's the '90s and I'm doing my own music and I'm singing a lot more and I'm playing much better than I've ever played. I'm drug free. I'm a lot happier. You know, things are going good for me again.
Does Gina Paul ever do any drugs?
No.
What's the last one you said?
Been drug free.
10 years.
Yeah!
I mean, I do occasionally have, you know, I will drink a beer now and then, I will have a scotch with it, but no fucking around before shows or anything. I stay pretty, I'm into biking. In fact, my knee is really major swollen. I'm into mountain biking, so I got hurt last week, and so I do ride at least 3 days a week, and I go to the gym 2 days a week, and I eat nothing but health foods and vitamins. So I take good care of myself.
Peter.
I got a mongoose. It's a real kick-ass bike.
Peter.
Yeah, you? Yeah. Oh, you want to take pictures.
Hey, what was your favorite stage show?
Wow. Madison Square Garden.
When? What tour?
Home.
What tour?
76. That was a good show. And Cobalt Hall was another one. Huh? I live in Venice Beach, in California.
Why did Kiss go to Cadillac back in '74?
Why did we?
Yes, what happened there? Why not
Great. It was a high school. It was this cool high school, man. They were really cool.
Detroit was just as big.
But this school had a lot more charisma. They were really nice kids, and we played in their auditorium for their graduation. And they mentioned, we did a parade, they had a Kiss Day, and they mentioned they put the street Kiss. It was great. We dropped like thousands of flyers over the football field. The team dressed all in our makeup, and they won. So it was just something. Really, it was really something cool to do. You know, so it was just something original. The book, like again, it's just hanging there until I get my album out first. Then I'll go back to my book. I've been working on the book 10 years, so it ain't going nowhere.
What about the lifestyle you lived when you were with Kiss? I mean, are the royalties as high?
Well, the royalties aren't as high because we're not together anymore, so the records aren't selling like they used to, so the royalties would be lower. I'm very comfortable. I did also quite well at the Star, but I live quite comfortable. I got a Rolex, I do all right. I'm glad you guys are worried about how my income is. You want to leave 50 cents where you're going. Mike looks about the year of the flood.
Do you have any of these
memorables of Kiss?
I got a warehouse full of stuff of my private collection that, like my world drums, and I have my own. I still have the big cape, the lions on it. I still have some jumpsuits. I still have 2 pairs of boots. I got lunchboxes. I got a lot of stuff. My pinball machine. I just put it aside for my own collection.
What's your best costume?
Yeah, what was your favorite costume?
There was one that had zippers on it.
Yes.
I don't know where the hell it is. Someone told me Steve Simmons said they bought it back from the kid. I still have the original Destroyer costume. Yeah. I'm glad it wasn't here today. They would have taken it. I would have fucking followed them to the airport and kicked their ass. There's a big difference than me and you guys. That's all right. Anyway, what else?
Can you still got that big green fur collar from Dynasty? Big green one?
Yeah, I have that big green. You mean the big? Yeah, I got green. Yeah, it's storage.
Hey, did you kick that bitch's ass after Donahue show?
Worst place I've been. Duluth, Minnesota. Duluth. Okay. I shouldn't say that. Now we'll go to Duluth.
Did you ever walk around the crowd with your makeup off before your shows?
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was cool because we had these phony wigs and mustaches, these outfits, and we put them on and sneak like amongst you guys. Don't know, and it was kind of nice. You get to hear things that sometimes was cool, sometimes it was. Now you got 2 more that they're taking me away, so give me good ones.
Are you hoping for a reunion tour?
Get a real question, man.
It got better. It got better and better and better. But then I noticed towards the early 80s, I thought metal was going out the window. And I got that feeling of disco was so big then. That's why we even did a disco song. It's made for Loving You. It was our version of a disco song. But I just started getting shaky in the 80s. And at that point, I was really getting fed up with the business. I went to a rehab in 82 for my coke problem. That was a real bad time. And then my daughter was born, and I just decided to raise my kid and get off the bandwagon for a while. I did that, and I got to travel, read books. It was nice. Black and tan.
White one.
So that's OJ.
I've had a great chance to meet you and Nate. We both are cool-ass motherfuckers.
Thank you, man. With that, I gotta go. This guy.
Yeah.
Today, fans of the rock group Kiss converged on the Northfield Hilton for the first annual Kiss Convention. Some even dressed the part. Dealers from all over the world were there selling almost any type of Kiss memorabilia you could imagine. Some fans even got an extra treat, a special appearance by Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley, 2 of the original band members.
Well, they wore their crazy costumes 20 years ago. Today, they made a surprise appearance in an Oakland County court to get their duds back. In subdued street clothes, members of the rock group Kiss were in Pontiac because of a lawsuit they filed against 3 people. The trio are accused of stealing the costumes the band wore 2 decades ago. They were showing them at a Kiss concert in Troy. As soon as the rockers heard, they flew in and, with the help of police, seized their relics.
Did you recognize them right away?
Absolutely. They smelled the same.
Did they?
Yeah. The problem for us was that had we announced that we were coming, clearly the costumes would have disappeared. There was another case a few years ago where we were trying to repossess a set of costumes that had fallen into hands other than ours. And as soon as they got wind of it, the costumes suddenly were taken to London.
It's estimated the costumes are worth $30,000.
Colorful rock group Kiss went to court today in Detroit to get the boot, literally. Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley, 2 original members of Kiss. And this poster we're going to show you may jog your memory of the costumes they used to wear in the late 70s and 80s. Well, some of those costumes and some wild boots disappeared from a warehouse a couple of years ago. Yesterday, they turned up at a Kiss convention in Troy.
We were very careful in identifying the people who we believed literally took it or received stolen goods, and we basically just went in and got them.
When something is important to you, whether it's a photo album or something that is near and dear to you from your past, it's rightfully yours, and to see someone else have it and making money off it is really unfair.
Oakland Circus Judge Gene Snells ordered the costumes returned to Kiss. Nevertheless, the band members promise that they have no intention of dressing like this on their upcoming tour.
Boy, does that bring back memories. I love them.
Yeah, but how did they stand on those 10-inch shoes?
Very
That's what I don't remember.
Kissing off a legal dispute. Original Kiss rockers Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley crashed a Kiss convention in Troy yesterday. They walked in with a search warrant and carted off some of their original costumes that were touted as highlights of the Kiss Museum. Turns out those costumes were stolen. Well, today the pair came to court and decided to drop charges against the alleged costume thief. So now they have the costumes back, and for now, the legal snafu is over.
Thank goodness.
Two of the original band members stormed the place to reclaim what they say is rightfully theirs. Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley reportedly arrived at the hotel with a warrant and carted off costumes they say were stolen from the Kiss Museum years ago. It was quite a surprise to the hundreds of Kiss fans who were at the first annual Detroit convention to browse through memorabilia and listen to rock tunes. They also came to meet original 70s drummer Peter Criss.
Oh, Julius LaRose, I think.
That's that comfy? And here we have
the Volcano Brothers. There they go on camera. Bob and John Hart. Never before photographed.
Say hello, Bobby.
Come on. Leave me alone.
Come on. Say hello, Bobby.
Okay, good. Fine. I have Austin Wall.
Can you move your boots around? We're just taking
Sure.
close-up shots now for inserts later.
Sure.
So we can get a little action with the shoes.
Want some action with your boots?
Whatever, yeah.
I hope they're going to have to slow down the camera.
Those boots either. You also have to wait till the sound guy gets out.
I wish the heat guy would get heat in here.
Yeah, everything.
2 out of 3 isn't bad.
Hey, I got the building one. Just clip it to his nipple. Nip it to his clipple.
Good it is.
Company.
Wonder what the reaction of Ed Sullivan would have been if he was around to put you on.
Hey, look. He was a strange
I'm going to have to talk to you. He was.
He was the only guy okay. That's fine, yeah. Okay, and today on the show for the adults we have the Marquis Chimps. And for the kids we have the Beatles. Strange man.
Well, she had been hitting the head as hard as he had. You've been up early this morning, huh?
I know it. Don't do that when I'm talking either. Don't do that. Do this. Don't do this. Do that. Don't.
You're alive. So come on in.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Hi, Mom.
Say hello to Uncle George.
And I mean, to stop me a few.
Just for a second, I just want to get in.
It doesn't have to be there.
No, keep going.
We've got
But I mean, they don't shoot you, so just leave it.
It's up to you. Yeah, I'm working. I'll have to move the camera to get a close-up.
You want to move the Carmen?
Want some boots or faces?
They wanted a close-up of that famous...
Appendage. Tongue? You want slow motion, fast motion, side? What do you got?
Do it all. We got about 30 seconds to kill.
Ultraviolet. Merv Griffin had. You ever hear Ultraviolet? You know her?
Sure.
Yeah.
Merv Griffin had her on the show once. He said, "I hear you have a long tongue," and she took her tongue out and hit her eyebrows with it.
Wow. No kidding. Who is this?
Everybody went crazy. You were there. Did you see it?
Wow. Who is this? Is she
Where does she
attractive?
Yeah,
yes, she's beautiful.
Oh, yeah? Really?
And you gotta have a record. You win.
Boy, you and her.
When she stuck her tongue out, it went out and went up and hit. Everybody was crazy.
They went out for lunch.
Maybe we can get...
They went to the Carnegie Deli.
They had to chase it all over the theater.
We got a lot.
No, I doubt it.
I have open walls down the street. Oh. But the payment never.
I really love that song. Zana.
Oh, welcome to our living room. We're here relaxing this afternoon. We're waiting for tea. All the afternoon soaps are off. Nothing to do.
They're truly poor.
Have you met my butler, Simmons? Simmons, be good.
And then, remember, look.
You rang. I have fallen.
All right. Guys on the ends, you had to lean in.
Lean on us.
Just, as a general thing during the interview.
Right, okay.
Beware of not leaning out.
Should we all lean in, lean back? What do you want?
You guys are okay.
No, you're fine.
Fine.
Anytime, Al.
Okay. Welcome to the show. We're talking with KISS.
Here we are.
Yes, hello.
Hi, folks. Hello.
Hello, America.
We just come from Montreal. That's why we talk like this.
Welcome to Night Flight. My name is Al Bandiro, and my guests are KISS.
Hello, Al.
Hello, Al.
How are you?
Fine.
I'm fine.
Thank you for coming to Night Flight.
America, hi.
Why don't you introduce yourself? We'll go from left to right.
Vinnie Vincent.
Stevie Nicks. Paul Stanley.
Gene Simmons. Right in back of Paul's hand.
Eric Carr. Yeah, no, they just...
Okay, and the outside gentlemen are the two newest members in the group.
Hi.
If we can...
Let's do the second intro again. And let's just do it a little bit slower.
Okay, I was going to say Eddie Carter. Okay, you'll be sorry. I know.
Okay.
All right. Welcome to Night Flight. My name is Al Bandiro, and we're talking with KISS. Welcome, gentlemen.
Hi. Hi, Al. How are you?
Hey, Al. All right. How are you?
How about if we introduce from left to right?
Vinnie Vincent.
Stevie Nicks. Paul Stanley.
Gene Simmons.
Eric Carr. Okay, now this group has sold over 50 million records, recorded 17 albums. So far, so good?
So far, so good.
Not
Okay.
bad. I like it.
15 gold, 11
Something like
platinum.
We lose count after 10.
Okay, and then history has been made with KISS as far as music is concerned. Can we get into the previous band before KISS to bring it up to date?
Sure.
So all people do is see what you're at now, where you're at. They think it's an overnight success. Let's go back to the days when you were paying some dues.
Well, Gene and I were in a band in 72, I guess 71, 72, and we wanted to do a big theatrical presentation, but most of the guys in the band, we kind of looked like we were at a bus stop waiting for the bus. There was tall guys and short guys and hairy guys and bald guys. Nothing against bald people. We're all headed that way. But we just decided we want to put together something really spectacular. And I guess we had a record deal, and once we finished the album, we fired the band and went looking for new members. And we saw an ad in the paper that said drummer willing to do anything.
That was in Brooklyn, right?
That's right. And the drummer willing to do anything was Peter Criss. And we went to see him, and he was willing to do anything.
He was playing in the King's Lounge in Brooklyn.
In Brooklyn. But you and I are from the same neighborhood, Gene.
Williamsburg. Yeah.
And
except you used to chase me. I used to run when I was little. Now it's my turn.
Now you're from?
I'm from Manhattan, all the way uptown, Inwood. Some people don't know about Inwood. It's like right before Riverdale, 211th Street, Broadway.
You know, some people would, Inwood, know about it.
Moving right along. It's like Outwood, only backwards.
And the two new members?
I'm actually from Connecticut, born in Connecticut. Bridgeport, Connecticut.
Yeah, but Vinny's heart lies in Brooklyn. He can't be Italian and talk like this and not
My heart lies.
and come from Connecticut. No.
Brooklyn, eh? I got one in Brooklyn.
Yeah, I'm a Brooklyn guy. I was born in Brooklyn, raised in Brooklyn, East New York, which, as you may know, is a very tough neighborhood. That's why I'm so tough.
Backtrack a little bit. Where was the very, very first show that you put on?
First show we put
Probably
on
in our living rooms when we were little kids for our parents and our uncles.
Right. I used to, yeah, go next door and lip sync, you know, mimic records.
Professionally.
Professionally. We did a show at a place in Queens called Coventry. It's on. It was on Queens Boulevard. We don't want to get lumped in with all the New York bands, all the glitter bands, so we went looking for our own club. So our first show was for the bartender in a bar. Nobody else showed up.
With the makeup?
Yeah, Kiss has always looked just like, I mean, Kiss
from day one. That you put together.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, basically, there's tapes of us playing a club on Long Island, and we were doing all the songs that were on the first and second album. That's never really changed.
The very first reaction to where people started coming in droves, so to speak, to see what you were all about, what was that kind of reaction?
I remember getting up on stage in Long Island. This was in Amityville, I suppose a couple blocks from where that ghost house was. And people are drinking. I remember just putting our guitars down in one of the sections of the song and running out into the audience and making people put their drinks down and forcing them to clap their hands. Once, there was a pregnant girl in the front of the little club, and I sat on her lap, and she wasn't quite there. Apparently she'd had, anyway, it wasn't a nice thing to do. I think the baby's okay now, but there was a point there. And, you know, when we first walked in, the security guy there, the big guy, was going to knock us out. We were really scared, and we'd lock ourselves in the dressing room, putting on our makeup, and we'd be answering the phone. People would call up and say, well, who's playing there tonight? We'd say, oh, the best band you ever saw, Kiss. They wear makeup, they do all kinds of strange, you'll love them.
They hide from the bouncer, they hide from the bouncer.
And the club owners had no idea what we were doing. We refused to do any Rolling Stones or cover songs or anything. And he complained the first weekend. Second weekend, it sold out, and
he really used to get pissed because a bar does its business on liquor. And we were so loud that they couldn't hear anybody ordering drinks. But what happened over a period of a week or two is we were doing such a big business at the door that they didn't care, and it didn't really matter.
As long as
and
the people
bouncer would be so anxious for the show that he'd come and knock on the door. Come on out, you guys! Come on out now, you know. And it sounds like John. We've got a security guy. His name is John Hart. Sounds just like that.
There's an interesting story about how you got the record companies to come and see you. The story along with the Brats. Tell our viewers about. That's interesting.
We would rent our own concert hall. This was at the Diplomat Hotel, 43rd and 6th. Still there, I think. They haven't torn it down yet.
Home of reasonably,
still there.
Yeah, home of reasonably priced prostitutes.
And we put on our own concert. We rented the hall, took the ads out in the newspaper, and actually had little contracts with the opening acts. But we were the opening act. The Brats at that point were a more popular-based band. And we invited everybody to come, you know, the record industry to come and see us, and we'd say in the invitation, complimentary ticket, showtime, 9:30. And of course, you know, they'd come and see us, and by the time we were off, they'd leave. And the headline act, the Brats, would come on at 11 o'clock, and by that time...
Did they know that this was going on, meaning the Brats?
No,
certainly not.
I think,
sorry, guys.
Yeah, probably what set us apart from a lot of the other bands is that we were kind of thinking along those kind of lines. It wasn't really enough to just get out and play.
No, we were serious about this. We wanted this to happen.
So you were going to pull out all the stops to,
That's right.
to do something. If we can, once Kiss has been successful, let's get into some negatives that I know you came across. How did you deal with them as far as the parents were concerned? Because I'm sure when they saw their children bring home an album and say, what is that?
We never, I guess...
Did you have any confrontations with parents? Or,
no, I think we kind of took it as a compliment because we never really wanted to appeal to parents. I mean, trouble with a lot of parents is they forget they were ever young. And we were never trying to be a critics band, and we were never trying to be a, you know, the band that the parents approved of, because that's not what rock and roll is all about. Rock and roll is sex and freedom, two things that, and more sex, three things that a lot of adults fear, I guess.
That, in the beginning, though, it is true that we would go out and open up for acts from all the way from Savoy Brown to Manfred Mann, acts that were sort of on their last legs anyway. And we'd catch a lot of flack from, you know, Roberta would call up and say, we get flack, you get it? But it wouldn't matter because even before our record came out, we would tour with these acts, and we'd have our logo on the stage and amps bigger than the headline act, and even once we went off the stage, our logo would be hanging above the stage. This was before anybody ever really started to do that sort of stuff. It wasn't considered in vogue to hang a sort of a Las Vegas sign above the band. That was a little too garish, but we didn't care about that stuff. We wanted to make an impression, and the logo would flash so bright that even when the other act was on, you'd still see Kiss in front of your eyes. We wanted them.
Yeah, where was your first big hall that you played?
What did I say?
Garish?
That was Eileen. Don't you remember Eileen Garish?
I'm sorry.
Let's go back again. Where was the first big hall that you played when you had, if you have to label it, success?
Well, it depends on what you consider success. To us in the beginning, success was being fourth on the bill playing the Palladium in New York, which is 3,800 seats. So to us, that was pretty big. We went from 1 week playing a club in Queens. 10 days later, we were playing there. And I was a chubette at that time, and I was wearing satin pants that broke.
You were a chubette?
Yeah. I had a fondness for things that tended to put weight on me, so I had these satin pants on, and I jumped up in the air and they broke. And I had to hold the guitar in front of me all night to keep the pants from falling down.
There's almost nothing that was uneventful in anything we did. The very first show we did at the Academy of Music, New Year's Eve, 73, 74, was the very first time I tried to fire breathe in front of an audience, in front of a large audience anyway. And all I remember was that at one point the audience went nuts. And then somebody came up and put a towel, I think, over my head. I just thought it was a fan.
And a cane.
And a cane. And pulled me off. And I didn't realize it at that time, but the right side of my hair had caught fire. And everybody thought, yeah, that's a great show. You're going to kill yourself for us, huh? Yeah, go ahead.
How much preparation goes into one of your concerts?
Usually. The H usually leads to the preparation.
It takes a long time. I mean, while we were working on Creatures, the latest album, Creatures of the Night, we were also at the same time working on the stage design and putting a crew together. It took months and months. I mean, really every day. I'd say we were in the studio probably 14 or 20 hours a day, in addition to running to see that the stage looked right. We had a lot of work.
You have a success, 4 guys in a band. Now one guy decides to leave.
One guy decides to change his lifestyle, pretty much.
What goes through your mind now? You're successful, very successful now at this point. How do you go about replacing him, or do you replace him? What are the
even
things
before that, you have to make certain priorities. You have to decide whether or not this is worth doing without the guy, whether or not your happiness depends on somebody else. And you know, while we're together, my happiness really is dependent on everybody else being happy. But if, look, what happened was Peter decided he wanted to get married and have a child. And that's what he wanted. He wanted to stay home and raise a baby. And at that point, in 79, we had to make a decision. And Kiss is more important than any one guy deciding that he wanted to change his lifestyle.
I think it was rough at first, only because when 4 guys have been through so much together, basically, we met basically in the street. We would go around at night and glue the posters up, and then we would drive the equipment to the show and be our own roadies, and we all had this dream. You know, I can remember Thanksgiving was turkey sandwiches in an unheated loft, you know, so.
See, that's the part of the business that a lot of people, I don't really think they accept. They think they see you now,
sure,
they see where you are. They don't see the dues being paid.
Well, everybody is an overnight success because people don't realize that anything was happening before they became aware of you. I mean, all that time is obviously not recorded, and there's no stories about those kind of times. So when Peter decided to leave, we really had to sit down and say, well, does the band come first, or do we suddenly break up because somebody wants to leave? Well, the band is really much more important than any of its members. And I think the whole philosophy is that the band is an attitude and a way of life and a philosophy, and that's really the most important thing, not who's in the band.
All right, well, now you have to replace somebody. Eric, how did this come about?
Well, the way they found me was through a friend of mine, under a cabbage leaf, right. No, just a minute ago, my breast here was quivering, and I was showing it to Gene while Paul was talking.
I liked it.
Did you see it?
I liked it. Can you show it to me later, too?
Yes.
I'd like to see a little bit
Quivering jelly. Anyway, I found out through a friend of mine that I hadn't seen in 3 or 4 months, quite by accident. He came down to a club that I was playing, club in Queens, and at the end of the night he said, you know, Eric, you have to get out of this band. And I said, yeah, I know. I was already intending to do that. I had no other prospects as far as music was concerned. This would have been the first time that I really did not know what I was going to do musically with my life, you know. And he said, why don't you audition for KISS? And at first I said, come on, you know, you're full of it, you know, get out of here. He said, no, but Peter's leaving the band, and you know, they're looking for drummers. So the next day, which was a Thursday morning, I called up I shaved, put on new diapers, put on new diapers, ate my breakfast, drank my warm milk, kissed my mom goodbye. No, I called Coin Management, and I asked them, what do I do, you know? I sent in... I know, the engineer fell asleep, right?
Your hair keeps leaving the mic. Your hair is...
You see, where is that guy? I told you. My armpit hair or something was going to be... So it's like this. You know. So, yeah, this story is too good to mess up. Yes.
We'll do you next. So, huh?
He just wanted you to
okay, now you've rehearsed it once. Yeah, now let me get it right.
All right, so we'll start it from.
Same question. We want the same story.
All right.
We can get it.
Now I forgot what the hell I said.
You said what was...
All right, we're going to go from scratch.
Okay.
Coming into you, all right? That's the best way. Make it just as exciting. I'm sure it still is.
Did you mean that sarcastically?
No.
Oh, okay. Make it just as exciting. I need it now. Okay.
This happened this morning. I was going a little crazy.
It's hard to be away from the microphone's buzzing.
Is it?
As soon as commentary thinks, Eric, what's it like? Well, and they turn the sound on, they go, yes, KISS has been around for long. And they're going,
remember these old footages, you know? Footages like turlets.
These old...
Hey, let's watch some old KISS film.
And get into these footages.
These footages. Some old KISS film while Eric is talking.
I'll be at the turlet.
Well, we're back now. What Eric had to say was extremely interesting.
Send for a transcript.
Better?
Send for the Eric Carr transcript. There it is.
Al, you okay?
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Begin with the same conversation.
Now comes the time that you have to replace a drummer. Well, let's go to Eric as he's puffing on his drumstick. And
oh, Al.
Eric, how'd you get into the group?
How are you?
How are you?
It's funny you should ask me that question, Al. I feel like I've answered it just very recently. Well, it's a long story. They found me under a cabbage leaf, which is what Paul usually says. No, actually, the way this whole thing started was I was playing in a club, and a friend of mine that I hadn't seen in 3 or 4 months happened to stop in completely by accident. And at the end of the night, he says to me, he says, hey, you know, he says, Eric, why don't you get out of this band, you know? And I had already intended to get out of the band. Get out of this band and take a bus and get lost. Anyway, and you know, I had already intended to leave the band, but at the time I had no other prospects musically, which was like the first time in 15 years that I didn't have another band to go to.
Sanitation guy, remember?
Well, yeah, I had, oh no, I was, should I say it? Yeah, I can say that. I was repairing gas ranges in the daytime. And, you know, I was doing that so I'd have enough money to go to work the next day.
Play that back again now. Let's
okay.
Put that, you were doing
While
what
I
in the
was
daytime?
playing in the band right before KISS.
You working for the gas company?
Not for the gas company, but I was repairing gas ranges during the days.
He's a gas.
Yeah, I'm a gas. So anytime you guys need your stoves fixed, call on me. Anyway, but, you know, he said, you should audition for KISS, and at first I thought he was full of it, you know, I didn't believe it, but he said, no, Peter's leaving the band, and they're looking for a drummer.
And Peter's stove is broken.
Right, Peter's stove is broken. Look, the worst that can happen is that, you know, you don't make the band, but you can fix the stoves.
Space Bear. No,
Gene, how many people auditioned for that?
I'm sorry.
There were hundreds that came into the office. I mean, cassettes, pictures, bio information, and out of that we settled on 30, and then we had callbacks. There were something like 7 or 10 callbacks out of the 30 that auditioned, and some of the guys, in fact, that we auditioned later went on to be members of bands like Rainbow and other bands, and Eric was called back twice, I think.
I'm a little hard of hearing, and as I was walking out, they had to call me back twice. No, okay.
And he became a member as soon as he said, "Can I have your autograph, you guys?"
He asked for our autographs.
Yeah.
And we didn't quite tell him he was in the band, but what we did is we started rehearsing with him, and one day we said to him, "In 2 weeks we're playing, and you better have your stuff together," you know. So 2 weeks later we did a show. We did our first show.
Shock at that point, I would assume.
Oh yeah.
Well, right from there, we went on a massive European tour and outdoor shows.
What happens? Tell the viewers, what happens at an audition?
You'll
What
have
goes
your
on in an
chance.
audition?
No, this is the only story I know, you know. This is my big moment.
Well, Eric would tell you what goes on in an audition.
What goes on in an audition? What do you have to do?
Me personally, or just...
Yeah, right.
Well, I was given a list of songs to learn in the event that I was going to be auditioned, you know, for the band. And it was 5 songs. And I went home and I practiced them, you know, for a few days, over and over and over again, until I had them backwards and forwards. And I think with the whole situation with KISS, mentally, I was always here. I mean, I had wanted to be on this level. I never really, you know, expected that I would get into KISS, you know, but I was hoping to get to this level. So when I went into audition, you know, I just said to myself, look, Eric, you're going to do the best you can. You know, you're going to play. You know you're good. You know the songs, and that's all you can do. You know.
Now, do you play with them, or they're just sitting watching you?
Oh no, I auditioned with the band.
Well, both.
We played.
Both.
Yeah.
We done step off stage.
Yeah. I mean, they're always watching, you know. Anyway, but we just played together as a band, you know.
And then we step off stage, and he does a solo by himself. We say, when we stop, you're on your own.
Yeah. Also, he had to sing. We said, learn these songs and be able to sing all of them. Also, learn the low harmony or learn the high harmony. It was tough. I mean, you had to come in and be a member of the band.
That's got to be a frightening experience the day of when you're going there. I mean, you've got to be nervous.
Yeah, I was very tense, to say the least, you know. I mean, this was like something I never expected to even be called for an audition. But, you know, when it happened, I just had a feeling deep down inside that I was going to get it. And I think that really, boy, did I get it.
Okay. He actually was very good about the audition and everything. We thought he handled himself well until we found a little puddle in the back of the drums.
We had one guy who tried out for the band who literally was hyperventilating. You know, he was behind the kid. He was behind the kid. Just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. I'm okay. And you got to figure, if this guy is like this now, and it's just the band, you really have to worry, because you got to figure that if the guy's really nervous now, what's going to happen when he's got to play for 20,000 people? So that's like a consideration. If the nervousness destroys your ability to play, it's only going to be worse when you play in front of a lot of people. So those kind of people were eliminated.
How long does that process take?
Well, most of the people were eliminated immediately, and they were told that they were contenders.
Okay, now another member leaves, and now you have to look for another member. In steps Vinny.
I think a little explanation about Ace is Ace really didn't decide to leave at all. Ace happened to have been in a big car accident in April, and
how's he doing?
He's fine, as you know, as long as he doesn't run around and lead a rock and roll lifestyle. You know,
well, Ace and rock and roll are synonymous.
Synonymous. And his car was totaled. He doesn't have a Porsche anymore. He's lucky to be alive, and we were all really concerned. And we recorded the album and tried to make sure that Ace was involved as much as he could be while he was recovering, and in fact took a promotional trip to Europe together. Ace went on that ride, and you know, you could tell that the strain was just too much. And then we had to make a decision. Are we going to sit still again and not be KISS, or are we going to try to sort of wait it out? We decided to go ahead.
I think at that point, what we were worried about was not does the band continue, but do we sit around and wait, or do we go out and tour? We hadn't toured in 3 years, and past a certain point, you either call it a day or you start touring. For a band like Kiss, the most important thing is to be there with the public. And with a new album, it was really important that we go out and tour. So,
Vinny, explain how you got into Kiss now.
Explain the biggest thing to happen in somebody's life in 2 words. It's, you guys are beautiful, and I love you. It's amazing. It's an amazing story of fate being twisted.
Yeah, you and I met by accident, completely.
In every possible way that fate could be twisted. That's the given story of how I'm here today with you, beautiful
How did you meet
gentlemen.
Gene?
Gene was riding with a friend of mine, a mutual friend,
who may no longer
who may not be my friend anymore, as of hearing the final word today. We were both riding with the same guy, and Gene was over there one day, and I happened to come over, and I really wanted to meet Gene, and sort of on the sly, I said, Gene, here's my telephone number, and if you ever get a chance, give me a call. And only today did I find out I have no longer the same friend that he does.
Maybe, you don't know.
Maybe.
No. So he might be annoyed because you sort of went through the back door to get into...
It's one of those difficult situations because you really, you don't know if you're ever going to see this person again, and it's sort of that last...
It was like Bogart and Ingrid Bergman.
That last move, like, here's my phone number, and hopefully nobody else will. But anyway, from there, we just hit it off as friends, and
we started writing songs.
I didn't want to say that.
We started writing songs is what happened.
We started writing songs, and we realized we had the same influences, and we liked the same people, and same groups, same players, same guitarists, and it just, one thing led to another as far as writing. So we started writing more, and let's see, from there, I met Paul.
Well, then we were involved in working on the record, and at some point at the end of the record, we realized that Ace wasn't going to be with us, so we then auditioned guitar players from all over America.
And Vinny had played on the record.
Yeah.
Vinny co-wrote 3 of the songs on the album and played some of the solos, but we kind of, put Vinny to the side.
So what you went through with Eric now, you had to go through it again with the auditions.
Yeah.
I think it was worse. I think it was much worse. We were literally flying in people every day from all around the country, and at the same time working on the album. So what we would do is probably put in about 15 hours a day in the studio, go home, sleep a little, get up in the morning, go audition guitar players, and then go back to work.
Almost every guy that walked in through the door was convinced that he was a star, and that's okay, to sort of have that as a part of your ego makeup, and makeup, as you know, is very important. But these guys would come in with, the biggest attitudes. Okay, you guys ready? Come on, let's go, let's play. All this sort of...
See, now, that kind of attitude I can't understand, because you'd think somebody would go in there like a lamb and be scared to death because he's joining Kiss, you're not joining him.
Some people get the feeling that they're going to meet you on your level, but... I mean, that's not the way we are, so it's kind of weird, because if you figure somebody's like that when they're just auditioning, it's kind of like Pandora's box. That's your cue. You know Pandora. It's like opening a can of worms. If somebody's like that when you're auditioning them, once they're in the band, they're only going to be that much worse, and we never like to kill members of the band.
You have an attitude about your shows that's good to hear, to pass along to viewers, that you... love to give 100% and never less than that when you're on stage, even in your recording, but especially on stage, because that's, I would think, more grueling going from city to city to city.
It's not as grueling as people think. I mean, physically it is, but right before you get up on stage, you hear 20,000 or 50,000 or 10,000, whatever the amount of people, you hear people screaming, yelling, "Kiss, kiss, kiss," or, they call out various members' names. And it gets you up. It's like, I'm sure the same thing goes through a boxer's mind before he gets into the ring. He's trained his butt off, for 3 months, and I'm sure he's exhausted. Every muscle aches, but right before you get in, then you get that surge of adrenaline, and you're ready to go.
Plus, you figure that these people are seeing you for the first time. In other words, they weren't at the show the night before. So for you to lay back because you're tired or because you did the same songs the night before, it's really not fair to your fans or your audience. I mean, they're hearing that show and they're owed 100% every time. Otherwise, you should stay home. I mean, if you're not going to give that every night, then you shouldn't go out on tour. That's part of the reason we didn't go out on tour, because until we were sure that we were going to go out there and commit ourselves to doing it, there was no sense to do it halfway.
Because doing it together as KISS, it's just about 10 years, right?
It is 10 years.
Yeah. 73, 74 now.
Yeah.
There are a lot of entertainers, performers, 4 or 5 years come and they're very successful, and you go out and see them now and they're just not putting it. You can see it. They can give a vibe to an audience that they're not giving 100%.
Some of the best shows we've done in the past 10 years are the most recent ones that we've done. We've got the best stage. I mean, every year or every year and a half we put out a new sort of stage, completely rebuild the stage with new outfits and new everything. We've got the best stage we've ever had.
Yeah, talk about that a little bit. There's a brand new setup you have.
Everybody really sort of misunderstands what it's like. To say that it's a tank, people normally think, well, you've got a tank on stage, but that's not it. The entire stage is the tank. It's
designed.
Designed to look like a tank, 60 feet wide, with treads that go from the front of the stage all the way to the back, with a gun turret that's in proportion to the stage, where the drums sit on top of, and this thing does everything but talk. It moves, it fires. We've got a guy who worked for the Army who simulates what tanks do in war games, and this thing blows up the sound system.
And that's a tankless job.
And that's only one song.
Where did you get that idea about that?
It happened very naturally. We started designing the new show. You sort of throw ideas around. I had an old idea for the drum riser, just the drum riser being a sort of like a tractor, like a little tank, like a World War I tank, and that was sort of thrown aside. But then it naturally happened. We got involved with some very creative people, and the best. And everybody, the funny thing is, first we see the end product because we know exactly what it's going to look like, and then you get involved with craftsmen, these guys that put together metal and solder things, and then all of a sudden they get involved. And we asked them, well, why didn't you show us the material that you were going to show us today? Because I knew I could get a better thing and it'll last long. They sort of get involved with it, and they're proud once it goes up. Our road crew is as proud every time there's a great show as we are, because they've done something special.
Well, they're part of the show too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They always try to come out and take bows, and we're always pushing them off the side.
We're on the subject of concerts. The ticket prices just seem to be going higher and higher and higher. What's your feelings on that for people who want to come and see you, but maybe getting that 10, 12, I'm throwing a number at prices. Getting it together is hard because of the economy today. What's your feeling on that? Because the promoters are asking for more and more money.
Well, you got to figure that since money's tight nowadays, would you rather eat hamburgers every day or have one good steak? If you want steak, you should come see us. If you got to save your money, save it for it. There's only one KISS, and there's a lot of bands now that may wish they were KISS, but you can't be KISS better than we are.
We're also lucky, I think, that we've been doing something we're committed to doing what it is that we do, and it's not, times are bad. You don't just decide to go out with little amps. We've got times be damned. We're going out with the best show in the world.
Who do you listen to when you're not performing?
Starting with me?
Yeah.
A lot of Led Zeppelin, which is basically my favorite band. Police, the Cars, Men at Work. It varies. I have a lot of different tastes. Neil Young is one of my favorites.
Gene?
I usually like Women at Work, or just plain women. Work, play. Women that play.
I like that.
I like that too. I usually like newer bands. This usually happens during a show. He goes over and pops me one.
That's because you're Pops.
Because I'm Pops.
Wake up, Gene.
Usually new bands. I love the Jeff Beck group, the first one. Truth and Beck Ola were, in my estimation, some of the best rock albums. But I like a lot of the new bands. I like Stray Cats. When we took out a lot of the new bands that we got excited with at the time. I didn't say that well, but I know what I mean. AC/DC and Cheap Trick and Styx and Judas Priest and Iron Maiden and Scorpions, just on and on.
We have to just stop for a second when you said women. As an old Brooklyn buddy, I'll have to ask you now. You were teamed up with Diana Ross for a while?
Now it's Eric.
What? What kind of lady is Diana?
Well, Judas Priest was a very good opening act when they first came out. And, you know, the thing about... I'll tell you what it is about us that... it's really hard doing what it is that we're doing, not in the sense that it's hard to tour and physically do it, but, you know, we try to really make we try to distinguish between being KISS on stage and putting on the best shows in our estimation and who we are in our private lives. And that goes to also not being photographed. So, you talking about my private life.
Mm-hmm. And you have a right to your private life, which I think a lot of people don't want to accept. Well, and that is wrong. I mean, for anybody to dabble in it, but when it comes out in papers and trade papers or newspapers and two people are pitted together, I believe there's a fine line that you should stop at. But when you know that there's a couple together, I think that's just, people will just automatically ask you.
I don't mind questions at all, but it's okay if I don't answer because it's my life and I'll do what I want.
It's I mean, we do that for two reasons. We do that for our own sanity. I mean, when you give as much to the audience as we try to give, and when you're in the public eye, it's real important that you have something that's private, because if you give that away, then the public has everything. So, and plus, it doesn't have any relevance to KISS. KISS is such a strong entity that to have a picture of us eating lasagna, you know, or going for a walk, it just dilutes what KISS is all about. Plus, our private lives are private, and they're valued.
But the media today wants to get past that.
But that's
they
fine.
might be wrong, you know.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think curiosity is great. It's up to us to determine how far we let on, or how much we choose to let people know. There's nothing wrong with questions.
How do you battle that as far as people trying to get in and will do almost anything to get into your personal lives?
They do it, and you know, you try to control it where you can and where you can't. You also, our fans get pissed. Can we say that word?
Sure.
They get furious with us when they think that we're not being KISS. You know, sometimes newspapers take polls. Do you want to see KISS without their makeup? No, because the mystique and the legend is really important to them. Much more important than us eating lasagna in restaurants.
But it's hard to be KISS 24 hours a day.
Well,
and would you want to be KISS 24 hours a day?
We are KISS, but we're not. I mean, you take it to the extreme at a point like this, or when we're on stage. I don't think KISS is an act. KISS is us. It's something that comes from inside of us. But to do this, I wouldn't want to do this 24 hours a day. And what I do off stage, what I do in my private time, that's what you got. You know, that's what you got shades on the windows for, to pull them down.
We'll get back to the original question. I thank you anyway for answering that.
Pleasure.
I appreciate it. What music do you listen to, Paul?
I don't listen to a lot of music. It's not a lot of stuff.
What do you do in your spare time when you're not together, touring, recording?
Stay with friends, go out, stay out all night. Yeah, have a good time.
Vinny?
I listen to a lot of Zeppelin, you know, a lot of early Zeppelin records, and Beatles. I still enjoy listening to them a lot. Jeff Beck is one of my all-time favorite guitar players. Eddie Van Halen. You know, I'm always listening to guitar players. That's how I spend my time.
Let's move up.
Sounds
about,
rather boring.
25 years from now. No, it's not at all. But let's move up the road 25 years.
This is going to be good.
Okay, ready?
Okay.
Yeah. Try and answer this. It's a question just popped into my head. Your grandkids are going to come along one day. They're going to look at some of your album covers. Because I'm just looking at what we look at now, acts and what happened in the 50s as far as music was concerned. Now we're into the 80s. By the year 2000, if your grandkids come along and they say, well, this is my grandfather, That'd be a little freaky for you when you're sitting in a rocking chair.
I think we're going to be right in time. Those guys were, I think they're all going to dress like this. Why, you don't think they're going to walk around looking like this?
I think it's great. I think we've made our mark, which is a lot more than most people can say. I've seen history books, music history, you know, the history of rock and roll. You open it up and the inside cover is Kiss. We really stated what the state of the art was for rock and roll. No more blue jeans sitting on a stool on stage looking like you just got out of bed. We took it to the extreme, and now the audience doesn't take less. I mean, that's why bands are out now with outfits and with bombs and with signs and with presentation. I'm real proud of what we've done, and I want my grandkids to see pictures of me in tights.
How long does it take to prepare for a show with your outfits and makeup?
It takes an hour of actually putting everything on. But before then, you know, all afternoon and all day we're talking about the show. We take notes, we write.
We draw pictures.
We draw pictures, we take notes, have meetings with the light guys, with the sound guys.
We walk off stage at the end of the show, and so help me, as we're walking towards the limousines, we're going, well, you know, the lights got to change in this song, or why don't we take this song and switch it with that song? The show is the most important thing we do, and giving the audience 100% is the most important thing also. That's why when we took time off, when we would go to other group shows, their fans come over and say, when are you going out on tour? Because there really is only one Kiss.
We were talking before in the dressing room about, especially with Gene, with the weight. That outfit, I would assume, gets heavy once in a while. When
this is one of the lighter outfits I've had. This is about 40 pounds. The older outfits used to be about 60, and I was barely moving. But you know, you forget it. You forget all that stuff when you're out on stage. Everybody forgets, first of all, that whatever running around we do, whatever jumps in the air, especially Paul does, are being done on 8-inch heels. Here, lift them up for a second. You're running around and doing jumps and splits, not in sneakers, and with additional weight and leather and tight stuff. And, you know, we're proud of that. It's, okay, so you're Pete Townsend, so what? Jump in these.
Where is Kiss right now musically?
I think we're kind of at a real exciting point, because I think it took a little time for us to decide exactly what we wanted to do and who we are. And for a while, we may have been listening to people around us who were telling us what they thought we should be doing, and maybe we were listening a little too carefully instead of listening to what we thought we should be doing. And I guess at this point, that's why we're going out for 100 cities. And that's why we did Creatures of the Night, basically to do what we do best, which is hard-ass rock and roll.
Oh, you're on tour right now?
Yeah.
That started a few weeks ago?
No, we just flew in from places, Glens Falls, I think it's Glens Falls, New York, someplace like that. And this is a 100-city tour lasting 6 months. That's going to take us to cities we haven't been in.
In 3 years.
In 3 years. Some of the cities we went around the first time in '74. So it's going to be almost 10 years since some of these cities have seen us.
Kiss is a success. There's no doubt about that. A lot of people are in a stage of their career now where you once were. If you had to give advice to a group, what advice would you give them?
I think about the only advice you can give to anybody is not to listen to anybody else. When we first started out in '73, '72, glitter was dead. Everybody was wearing jeans and playing blues. Blues was really big, and everybody was saying, well, look, you know, let's put a band together, put a rock and roll band together, but don't do all this other stuff. We said, yeah, but we like it. We want to put together the kind of band we've never seen on stage. Not just effects, but outfits and makeup and songs that relate to us, and, you know, a complete package with logos and just all that stuff. And it was not a popular move. Everybody from, you know, press people would come by and say, look, you guys are very good, but come on with this stuff. You know, how long are you going to do this? It's 10 years later. Some of those guys no longer work in newspapers. And we're still here.
It's interesting, probably, when the first album came out, there were reviews that said, this will be a good joke for 3 months. I don't think anybody's laughing anymore.
That has to be a great feeling.
Well, it's great to know that you were right. The most important thing to anybody, I think, you know, advice for bands or anybody, is you got to believe in yourself. Because people that are putting you down are only doing it because of their own insecurities. They don't want you to succeed where they failed.
Well, it seems like thousands of people believe in KISS. So for Vinny, Paul, Gene, Eric, I thank you for coming tonight, Flight.
Thank you, Al.
Thank you, Al.
And don't be careful when you go back to the neighborhood now. Oh, by the way, do you ever go back to the neighborhood?
I do, but I don't have to worry anymore. You know why? Look.
He goes, I unplugged microphones. Bye.
That was the mic, huh? Thank you.
Yeah.
Salud! See you in your town.
In your dreams.
We're all saying that together? I thought you were just going to do it.
Who's that, Lisa?
No.
Oh my God!
I'm being serious. Are you going to do it or are we all doing it?
What are we doing? Are we all doing it?
You do it. Yeah. And then we'll join in and make buffoons of you.
Buffoonery. Which camera?
Guys, take off the makeup. But Lisa, we think it's important. Guys, take it off.
Okay, we're on. Which camera are we on? 2?
Right here.
Okay, we're on 1. Ready? Oh, are we all saying hi, we're KISS, or?
Okay. Hi, this is REO Speedwagon. We've had it. I mean, oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's Ira Speedwagon.
Okay, ready?
Ira.
Hi, this is Ira Speedwagon. Go ahead.
Ready?
Hi,
we're KISS.
Creatures of the Night watch us on Night Flight on the USA Cable Network.
That's right. You said that very well.
Can we do that
very
again,
good.
please?
Different ways, all different ways. We'll just roll it. Right into this.
Hi,
I was going to say one of the counts. All count together.
Give you the tongue? My room number is 430. Ready? Here we go.
Hi,
we're KISS. This is my tongue. Available for bar mitzvahs, weddings. Anyway, Creatures of the Night.
Night Flight on the
USA Cable Network.
That's in order.
Fablonjet.
Why'd you say we fly first class to night flight? On the USA Cable Network.
Okay.
KISS Creatures of the Night, and we fly first class on Night Flight.
Here we go. Hi, we're KISS.
That's right, and we fly first class on Night Flight on the USA Cable Network.
All right.
Way to go.
Can you try another one talking to the other camera, please?
Sure.
Say night flight. Why don't you all say night flight together?
Okay.
That camera.
My shoes.
Just say the word Night Flight?
Yeah, no, when you say
Night Flight!
No, ready? Here we go. 1, 2.
Hi,
we're KISS.
And we fly first class on Night Flight on the USA
Cable Network. But of course I was supposed to say Night Flight together.
This is not happening, guys.
That's all right. We'll equal Frampton's record soon.
Okay. One more time?
1, 2,
okay.
3.
Hi, we're KISS. And we fly first class on Night Flight on the USA Cable Network. Watch.
Hello.
They always do this.
Start it off that way.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi,
we're KISS. And we fly first class on Night Flight on the USA Cable Network. Watch it.
Rock on.
And Lisa says so also.
And Lisa's going, why don't you cut your hair and get mohawks?
Why doesn't Patti Smith become the major there? But Lisa, she's never going to happen.
What about a wrestler?
No, she will.
Do the same thing. Introduce each one of yourself and say we're from KISS and we fly first class.
But Ivan Crowell is a genius.
What?
The whole rap Night Flight on USA Cable?
Yeah.
But Iggy Pop is a genius.
Instead of getting mohawks, get less hawks.
What are we doing?
Just wing it. Wing it, Pops.
Hi, guess what group we are? We're KISS.
Who are you?
Come on, don't answer at once.
Anyway, we're here. So where are you? Come on over to my house.
Ready?
Come on over
Rosemary
to my
Clooney.
house, baby. Every mother's son. I bet you didn't know that.
Okay.
Who cares?
It's Come On Down to My Boat, baby.
I know.
How about Come On to My House, Rosemary Clooney?
Come on.
That was good too.
Hi, we're KISS. And we fly first class on Night Flight on the USA Cable Network. Watch it.
Rock on.
Or else.
1990? Okay.
You will do 1990?
Yeah, 1990. We're going to do one ID for 1990, Radio 1990.
Radio 1990? We're looking into the future, aren't we?
Yes, we are. Hi, we're KISS. Watch for KISS. Hi, we're KISS. Watch for KISS coming soon on Radio 1990. On the
Watch for
USA
us.
Cable.
It should be watch for us, yeah.
Watch for us. Coming soon on Radio 1990.
Great.
Try that one.
Hi, we're KISS. Watch for us coming soon on Radio 1990. Watch it.
Here we go. Hi. 1, 2.
Hi, we're KISS. Watch for us soon on Radio 1990. Hi, we're KISS, and 1990 is coming sooner than you think. Watch for us on Radio 1990 on the USA Cable Network.
That's right.
That was good.
It's good. 1, 2.
Hi, we're KISS, and 1990 is coming sooner than you think. Watch for us on 1990 on the USA Cable Network.
Thank you so much.
Right. And eat your cereal. Here, one more. Is it radio?
Radio 1990.
Yeah, watch for us on radio. How are they going to watch for us? Well, in 1990... They're blind people. Right.
Come on, you got it.
Okay. Radio for the deaf. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Hi, we're KISS. And 1990 is coming sooner than you think. Watch for us on Radio 1990 on the USA Cable Network. Right? Right.
And we're coming to you at least once.
Eat your cereal.
Twice is better.
And I'll show you why I'm not scared.